Hi guys, I'm Lag Dr. Clay Ballard, and thanks for joining me again on this analysis of Tiger Woods' swing. We've worked all the way into the downswing. We talked about transferring that weight to the left, and now we're going to be talking about the rest of the downswing and, more importantly, impact and the release of that club to properly generate some club head speed. I'm going to talk about a couple of myths that can hinder your club head speed, and I'm also going to give you two visuals on how to create some good club head speed without a lot of effort. So number one, as we're starting down, we want to think about creating a whip. And by creating a whip, I mean we're basically creating some angles that can be released and create a whipping action with this club. So if I look at Tiger's right arm here, we'll notice that the right elbow is bent. That can then be released later in the downswing and create a little bit of a whipping action. That's basically the definition of leverage there. We're creating a lever and then we're releasing that lever. And then number two, we're creating an angle between the club and these forearms, both your right and left forearm. They're creating an angle there. That's going to be released as we're coming down at impact, and we're going to take advantage of both of these angles to create some club head speed, so we're not creating all of our speed just with sheer force. We're actually using leverage and the release of leverage, which is basically the lag and release part of the golf swing, to create that club head speed without a lot of effort. So first part, we're creating a whip. The second part, we're going to crack the whip. That brings me to the first myth here. Most people have the visualization, or have been taught the visualization, that we should release this club toward the target. So everything should be turning through. I'm going to release the club out toward the target, and I'm going to visualize this as being my release of the golf club. When in reality, I want this club to release down here at impact, or basically just outside my left ankle. It'll be just after impact, actually, when it's fully released. So we can see that now this left arm is really straight here with the club, and we've gotten rid of that angle. So if we go into the downswing, we'll see that the club and the left arm creates an angle. We're going to release that at the time of impact. And a good way to think about this is, well, if I go ahead and I wait to release all the way up here, and I think about releasing toward the target, at this point the ball is already gone. It's probably 20 yards down the fairway, and hopefully down the fairway and not in the rough, but it's already well out of the after impact. So anything that happens after I've hit that ball really isn't going to make any difference in the ball flight. And that's the reason that I want to have that acceleration happening right at impact instead of holding on through impact and trying to rotate through and thinking about releasing to the target. So I've got to get rid of all this angle. I've got to crack that whip by the time I come to impact. So really visualize that. Imagine the club is a small whip in your hands, and you're going to crack the whip by the time you get to impact instead of waiting to crack the whip before you get through to impact. That's going to allow you to get that spike of speed right at the ball. Now number two, the second myth that I hear a lot of times, is that we need to rotate our hips very aggressively through impact. We need to rotate our shoulders through impact and feel like we're getting a lot of speed through impact. Now again, that's not going to allow you to crack that whip. If you think about whenever you're making a whip cracking motion, you actually have to slow your hands down. You know, if you can kind of visualize having a whip in your hands, if I'm going to get that thing to crack, I've actually got to slow my hands down to get that snapping. So if I keep on rotating my hips and shoulders through impact as aggressively as I can, I'm not going to be able to get that thing to snap. So let's take a look at Tiger's hips here. So as he's coming through the downswing, we'll notice the hips are rotating fairly aggressively. As he gets near impact, watch this point. The hips are basically stopped through impact. They're not rotating much anymore. And that's allowing the body to slow down and transfer that energy so he can take it and put it into the golf club and into the ball. Same thing with the shoulders. The shoulders are slowing down to transfer that energy, and the hands are actually slowing down through impact. So as you see, as he gets to about right here, those hands are slowing down to release that golf club. So again, that visual of cracking that whip at impact will really help with this. If any of you have an impact bag, those are great to work on the release of the golf club and cracking that whip, because now if I have this big bag in my way, I'm not going to try to rip through that bag. Sorry, that's a bad drawing there, but you get the point. I'm not going to try to rip through that bag. I'm going to try to release at that bag. So concentrate on those two key principles: creating a whip, cracking the whip, and you're going to pick up some effortless distance. So for those of you joining me on YouTube, if you like this video, please click the like button, post your comments. I'll try to answer as many of those questions as I can. And I really want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It's a real pleasure working with you guys. And as a bonus to you, I want to include a preview to the Lose the Right Hand video, and that's going to help you work on releasing this club in time so that you can maximize that club head speed right here at impact, and have a great drill that's going to work on that for you. It's called the Lose the Right Hand drill. I'm going to play about 30 seconds of that video, and then if you click in the link in the bottom of the screen, you can go to a place where you're going to sign up for your free membership. You'll get to see that entire video, plus you'll get about 4 hours of bonus instruction. It's never going to cost you a dime. It's going to work on all parts of the swing. And again, I just want to thank you guys for watching this video. I really enjoy making these videos, and I look forward to seeing you much more in the future. I'll see you soon.
When it comes to releasing the golf club, most golfers do it incorrectly, and it's just the sad nature of the game that because most golfers are right-handed, they play right-handed, they tend to overuse the right hand through the hitting area. The right arm's job is to supply and support the left hand by helping it control the club, but also to support it, supply it with speed. But in order to get speed, you've got to release it. And that's a very important concept to understand in the swing, because most golfers through impact are holding on very tight with the right hand and pushing with the right shoulder and right hand. And so at impact, their right hand's very tight on the club, and the left hand's kind of being driven around a little bit, and it's very common for that to start to break down if they incorrectly flip that right wrist. The reality is that your right hand through impact is done. In fact, I actually feel like I'm just barely holding onto the club with the right hand at all as a subjective reference for you. And I want my golfers to feel the same, that they're releasing that right hand. So if you think about the throw the ball drill, we talk about going to the top and then firing that right arm. At some point when you're throwing that ball, you're releasing the golf ball, right? When you're doing the throw the ball drill. You've got to feel the same way with the golf club. If you just try to do the throw the ball drill and hold on to it, well, obviously the ball is never going to release. You're never going to get any speed out of the ball. It defeats the purpose of the drill. Same thing's true in the golf swing. If you try and bring the club down really quickly with your right arm, but then hold on to it with your right arm,